I know peanuts, but the other birds get their peanuts.
They what, I'm sorry?
Blue jays, what is it that they want to eat? Peanuts?
Peanuts, they love peanuts. If you put peanuts in the shell out, I have customers that go out and drink coffee in the morning and put a bowl of peanuts on your table. The jays are very brazen, they'll come right up to you. I have one customer, she would feed them off of her knee. Okay, peanuts in the shell. Yeah. One couple said they didn't get outside at 7 in the morning. They had their patio door open. The jays walked inside their house. Hey, where are my peanuts? So it can be a lot of fun. Okay. Any other questions that we have? Yes.
Bill, two questions. What brings hawks into neighborhoods, and what harm do hawks do to the songbirds and the birds we're interested in feeding?
Now, hawks come to eat, okay? Their prey are birds. I call it nature. They have to eat, and that's the way it should be, okay? I'd rather see a hawk take a bird than a cat, okay? The bird that a hawk will take usually is a slow-flying dove, okay?
How can we attract these hawks?
But they also take snakes, small rodents, rats, occasional squirrel.
That's small cats.
And people that have, now the dogs have got smaller and smaller, so we have to be a little careful sometimes.
I've got a chihuahua next door. I'd love to get a hawk.
Yeah. Might be a real hawk, I don't know. Birds of prey may do that, I don't know. They rehabilitate hawks and owls.
And how do you get owls to come to your owl house?
How do you get owls to come to your house? Well, the only owls that we can build a house for, that I can do, is the screech owl. And I didn't bring a screech owl box. I just put it up. Now, it could be a squirrel goes in there, but usually it's a screech owl.
So you really don't have to do anything, just
You
put up
don't
the
have to
house.
do anything, no. Screech owls are nice to have.
There's one in the neighborhood, so my husband put an owl house up on top of the, very top of the oak, as far up as you
Yeah.
could get. But we were just curious as to what really attracts them.
You know, houses are funny. I brought well, I have to show you that. We also feed squirrels. Some of us do. And some of the squirrels, they always had these that they lift the lid up and get their food out. Kept birds out of their food. Now, for dumb squirrels, they step on the lid. The lid goes out. So they don't have to be the smartest squirrels around. Okay, well, feeding squirrels, keep them out of your bird sometimes. Their body, if you just feed squirrels corn, corn's not a complete protein, they're still hungry for protein, they'll go to a bird feeder. If you mix a squirrel mixture, which we sell, it has peanuts in it, it has a lot of stuff in it, including peanuts in the shell. They will sometimes stay out of your bird. Why risk your life if you can get it right here? Okay? Yes.
I put peanuts out in the shell,
Yes.
I throw them out by the feeder.
Yeah.
The only ones who take the peanuts are the squirrels.
Squirrel run.
They take them and bury them.
Yes.
You see all these holes in the flowers are gone, and little hole where it should have been.
We call that aeration for your pots. Yes, they do. They forget. Everybody says, I don't think they remember where they plant those peanuts. Sometimes running across the roof line, they'll drop their food, they'll go into your gutter, and all of a sudden you have corn growing and peanuts growing, plants in your gutter. Squirrels and jays compete for peanuts.
Well, those the blues like the peanuts out of the shell.
Yes.
I put those out in the dish and they go.
Now, the only way you keep, well, we're running late here. The only way you keep some birds, you know, if I had a choice, I always say we used to have a statue of St. Francis out in front of our store. Patron saint of small birds and animals. The squirrel brings me most of my business. It should have been a statue of the squirrel. And the cardinal brings me a lot of it. I wish cardinals would go in a house and build a nest because I could sell a lot of houses. They don't. Most birds don't. If I would attract wrens to my yard, or chickadees, 1.25 inch hole, cedar house, that'll last a long time. It has an air vent. It has an easy clean out. And since I get nosy, and I gotta know who's in there. Okay, now that house, it's well made, it's gonna last a long time, but the hole size is what determines what goes in there. If it was a bluebird, eastern bluebird, it'd be 1.5 inches. We don't get bluebirds in the city usually. They're only out on ranches and around San Antonio.
What's the best time to put it up for your chickadees?
Right now.
Right now?
Yeah, all your birds. I have wrens building a nest right now in one of these in my yard. And you know, you can put a clothespin basket right beside this. They'll probably build a nest in a clothespin basket. You know, they go wherever they think they can. One last story about cardinals. The male cardinal, in order to attract his mate, he'll start sometimes 3 houses, 3 nests. He does the 2-befores and he does the foundation. Then he takes his little female to each one and she picks out which one she likes. And she finishes a house. Now all you men, does that sound familiar? If she has a successful group of birds in that nest, she will stay there and have a second bunch. If it's not successful, she may very well go to one of those other nests that you started. That's just the way it is.
Don't they tend to build their nest rather low? I've noticed that a lot of times they'll build their nest.
Dense shrubbery.
Yeah.
Dense shrubbery. And again, that's habitat. Habitat's when the little kildee builds a nest right in this gravel in a parking lot. Yes.
How high do you need to put the chickadee house, or does it need to be,
5 feet, at least 5 feet up.
be in the trees?
Yeah.
It can't be out in the open?
It could be against a fence, from a tree, hanging from an eave of the house. You notice there's no perch on here? No bird that goes in a house requires a perch. I always tease my mother. That's the first lie she told me in Cub Scouts. We had to put those little pegs on there. It's the most difficult part about building a house. And no bird that goes in a house requires a perch. It does aid predators hanging on that perch to reach inside and grab it. Yes.
Well, I bought one of those from you a year or 2 ago, and last month, for the first time, I saw wrens flying in and out. Now, what I've always been afraid, you know, you open it up so you can see what's in it. If you open it up and there's wrens in there, of course, they're going to be scared to death and fly away. Will they come back, or are they going to abandon
Well,
it?
what you do, you open this up to look inside, not often, but to see what color eggs you have, and you do that after Mama Wren flies out.
Okay.
You try to do it when she's not in there.
So what color eggs are you looking for?
I knew you were going to ask.
You just look and then you go look them up.
The book will tell you what color.
Eggs, those eggs.
Yes.
I don't know my bird's eggs. Okay. Folks, you've been a delightful group. I appreciate you coming. Thanks to Shades of Green.
And we appreciate you coming. Thank you very much.
Now, 2 things. I will be glad to answer individual questions. I'll stick around a while. It's going to take me 30 minutes to load up there at least, and go out and buy a lot of plants.
We have, I did put the hammocks, the hummingbirds handout at the outside register, so if anybody wants to pick those up, there should be some of those.